want to chat about over to you in the last leg of the winter series. Does the rain change anything for you as far as how testing the 2-4 will be for him?
Look, thankfully it's the beginning of the season, so the water table's not too high, so I don't think the going is that heavy at the moment, and the weather for the week doesn't look to be too bad, so I don't think it should be too bad. He's a horse that certainly will definitely get this trip. Maybe as a younger 3-year-old, it's a little on the testing side for him right now, but in saying that, I did take him up to Port Elizabeth for the Derby, and he certainly got the trip there quite comfortably, although in saying that, that race was a very strangely run race. It was extremely strung out and he was drawn badly. He had a lot of ground to make up in the straight, but he didn't disgrace himself there, and I think back on the winter course with a short run in, and it'll be a much smaller field on Saturday. I think he certainly will be in contention, and he's a horse that must be included. I don't think he's without a chance there.
And the winter series has been really, really good to you, in terms of Marina and how she performed through it. You could just talk to us about what that means, like a sort of soft prep for a really good horse coming through.
It's always been one of my favourite sort of preps for younger horses, going through to be decent horses later on. Pocket Power obviously won all 3 legs of the winter series. Marina won 2 legs. So it definitely, it's a nice way of bringing a horse forward rather than taking them to Durban early on in the season. And I think often good horses come out of that series. This little horse that I've got, obviously he's only he's very much a staying horse, and I think that the earlier trips would have been a bit on the sharp side for him. A filly like Marina, as you mentioned, it was a lovely prep for her to bring her along, especially a big, tall, rangy filly like her who needed the time to come on. It's just a little bit softer on them, and I think a much kinder way of just keeping them going and getting them to improve as they strengthen and get a little bit older. She went on to have a great season down here, and she just got touched off in the paddock stakes, beaten half a length by Captain's Ransom. I think she was a little unlucky, in fact, not to get up and win the paddock stakes, and she's proved to turn into a really nice staying filly, and I think she's still got a very bright future ahead of her. She's only 4, and I think still only improving, so that did her the world of good, I think.
You've had that filly to Angel's Cry, who's seems very progressive. She won her last 2. Seems like this trip will suit her. Could you just talk to us about her prep and her chances?
Yeah, she's also been very much a filly that's been improving all the time. She's a big rangy filly, and she's also taken her time to strengthen up and put everything together, but she's extremely consistent. She never really runs a bad race. She came off a good win last time out over the mile. And I think that run's brought her on nicely. I took her down to Durbanville just to get some work in, because obviously we haven't really got tracks at the moment, and she put up some very good work yesterday. So I think I've got her spot on pretty much for next Saturday. I don't think there's anything that really stands out immensely in that field, and I definitely think she'll be competitive, and she must have a good chance. In the distance, I've got the 2 fillies, Fun Zone, who just came off a win last time out over 12. I thought she won pretty well. Thought I would. She's a Marinaresco's family, so they definitely should get the ground. So I think I may give her a try over the 1500. Obviously it's a step up for her, just coming out of a maiden, so it was a little tricky to tell. And then I've got Camille Claudel, who also comes off a very nice win last time out. She's a very nice filly that we rate fairly highly in the yard. Just hoping that I can get her to settle enough to go the 1500. She definitely will get that sort of trip. I'm just hoping that it's not a little bit too soon, coming off a 1,000-meter sprint or 1,200-meter sprint, where she was fairly handy last time out. So if I had a little bit more time to get her just to do a little bit more long work to try and get her to settle a little better. But otherwise, in saying that, she's a filly with ability, and it'll be interesting to see how she fares. She's certainly not without a chance.
Charles Dickens, was a talking horse in his last start in that little feature. I think it's a Somerset sprint. He then won, and quite convincingly, Aldo bullishly gave a few cheeky smiles to Richard. Can you just talk to us about him as a horse, Charles Dickens, and what that means, what kind of plan you have for him?
Troy, he certainly is a lovely horse. I certainly don't doubt the ability that he has. He's shown us pretty much from day one before he ran that he's a lovely looking horse, and he shows a lot of ability. He's just the kind of horse you can switch off and have anywhere, and he's just got those extra gears. So I'm certainly hoping that he's going to be my exciting prospect for the summer season coming up. I think if he continues to improve the way that he is, I think he's going to be a really exciting horse to, and certainly one to follow. I've got him in the Langerman for Saturday. I think he should get the trip. Obviously, he hasn't been around the turn yet. It'll be his first time around the turn. He's not the kind of horse that's too green, so I think he should be okay with that. Didn't draw that well. He's drawn 10 in the nom, so we'll have to see whether, where we come into draw-wise. I was a little bit in two minds as to whether to run him or not, and I think if there's a lot of rain and they're going to a bit heavy, I might decide not to run him. But, if he does take his chances there, as I say, he's certainly above average horse, and I think he should give a very good account of himself. First time around the turn, one never knows, but I'm really happy with his progress and the way he's coming on and what he shows at home. As I say, I think he's very exciting.